Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Blue Stream at the 2013 Winter Championship event. Dallas, Texas is where we are. Awesome venue, awesome crowds. I'm axeltoss, joined by incontrol.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm good, and I'm glad that MLG always comes to Dallas. The crowd turns out in force. The LOL side has been thunderous. They are really excited. The Call of Duty center stage has been great. Of course, completely amped up. No, I'm not going to make that joke. And then the StarCraft 2 crowd doing a great job. I mean, I'm really happy about this. I was a little bit worried that with no open bracket, we wouldn't have quite the crowd that we normally do, but they're filling the seats. There's people standing over there.
Yep.
There's standing ovations at the mini stage. It is wonderful to be back in tournament season.
Yeah. Again, if you have never had a chance to make it to a live event, if you're in the Texas area, there's still tomorrow, Championship Sunday. Tomorrow's
Get on your family cattle.
Yeah.
Use the tractor. Pull the cattle out of your farm.
Stared.
And then,
what? I'm from
okay.
Texas,
When I make
so
those
I kind of take that a little bit personally.
Well, the guys
there's a line. I think
you sure have crossed too many lines.
Stop it.
Yeah. All right. I can do the best Texan impression.
I'm gonna ask these guys if they're
the people who would actually be offended about that joke don't have internet though, so I don't feel too terribly bad. So I'm safe. They're not actually that upset.
Oh my gosh. Alienizing? Alien? I don't know the word.
Alienating?
Alien? Is that what it is?
It's a word outside of Texas, yeah.
All right, Sen is ready.
Yes.
Waiting on confirmation from party. Of course, a little bit of context if you're just now joining us. It's currently tied, 1-1. Electric, game number 1. Parting very one-sided game 2. A very nicely formulated 7-gate all-in. Of course, it depended on a lot of things going his way, and they did. Able to sneak that probe on his opponent's side of the map, able to deny overloads from scouting, and it all added up to Sen.
Able to make 7 gateways.
Able to make the 7 gateways, and it all added, it all added up to Sen not knowing what was happening. Of course, game number 3 is going to be on Akalon Wastes, and I made that fly through. Did you like it?
Did you actually?
Yeah.
You make those things?
Yeah, the map editor.
They're really good.
Really cool.
Well, you're like some kind of wizard to me now.
Dude, the map editor.
I can barely host a game. What do you freaking make?
It's
them?
a lot of fun. No, people think about the map editor like it's so intimidating, right? But it's actually a lot of fun to play with. So I encourage you guys, if you're into map making, if you're into, like I want to see Machinima. I want to see a Marine, and I want to see incontrol voice acting that Marine and telling a story, right?
Yeah, I'd do it.
It's doable in the map editor, guys. Please try to take advantage of the tools Blizzard has given to you because it's completely awesome. But back to this tournament, the bottom right-hand location. We have the Red Protoss player who fell down in the first game, but was able to formulate a nice 7-gate all-in in game number 2 to take down his opponent, which means the series is tied 1-1. He is representing SK Telecom T1. He is partner. And there he is.
Best of 5 all tied up. And in the top left-hand side, formerly of Team Fnatic. And before that in Brood War, I'm going to drop a knowledge bomb on you. He was from Team Templars of Twilight. Wow. TOT. A former teammate of mine. It is Sen. And Sen in game 2. Oh, go ahead.
Was he a Zerg? Sorry.
Yes.
You said
Zerg.
Templars of. That seems like a Protoss name.
Yeah,
right?
it's more just epic.
Okay.
It was epic. It was they had a German founder / leader, Mondragon. A lot of people might have heard of him. He's moved on to focus on school. But he is a legendary Brood War player who went on to do great things, and his team was a non-sponsored, we were not salaried collection of guys that like to play the game at the highest level, and awesome. Sen was a part of that.
That is awesome.
Big part of that.
That seems a little random to me. It's like he's from Taiwan, right?
It is random, to be honest. There's a few guys that were pretty good from there, but for the most part, I don't know. That's just not where Brood War players got good at StarCraft, to put it lightly. But the team had Polish players, German players that had a German background. I was the first American.
Wow.
Outside of, well, was I the first American or was it Froz? No, it was, I don't know. Anyways, I was one of the first Americans. Rhett was on the team. Rhett was a teammate of mine for a long time.
Sorry to interrupt you from
no, go ahead.
The beginning as well. You were talking about game number 2, and I...
Oh, I was just going to do the caster thing where we were like, hey, I won a game with a beautiful strategy. Yeah, I had nothing.
No, I love hearing history like that. Like when that video came out with Artosis and Day 9 at that
oh, I got teary-eyed of that stuff.
Oh,
That's amazing.
I love that stuff. I wish more of it would be out there.
If someone could like, put the hazy like Instagram vision on it and like slow it down a few times and add a little bit of soft music. But joking aside, that is actually incredible because at the time, just the stuff Sean and Nick said to each other that would then later become like the most harrowing and like emotional things ever 10 years later. Good video. If you guys know what we're talking about, what would you look up on YouTube?
Oh gosh.
WCG 2005,
yeah.
Day 9, and Artosis.
There you
maybe.
go. That's what you search. Go for it.
It's very, very good. A lot of
the
history.
thing that was really impactful about that for me was like I've always heard all these rumors and stories about all this stuff about, you know, Tasteless Artosis Day 9.
Yeah.
And then it all kind of popped up there. Like Tasteless
Yeah.
told that story about how he got into casting.
Yep.
And lo and behold, literally the quote was in there, like of him
Yep.
saying, "I'm gonna go see if they need casting help."
And then that launched.
Yeah.
Tastosis, like,
Yeah.
from that point
It's
forward.
just, you guys, if you're into StarCraft, if you're into the history, definitely check that out.
You know what, actually, before we break away from this tangent, the
Of
part
course.
that actually made me, I now remember what made me almost cry, was seeing and hearing the passion in Artosis' voice when he was talking about he's got such and such opponent coming up,
And he
it's
still
really
had
hard.
that
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I usually lose to him, but I've been training really hard. I'm really going to work on it. Then they interview him after he loses, and I'm like, oh my God. Because the one thing you can say about Artosis, nobody in their right mind would ever question the fact, but this guy loves StarCraft probably more than anybody else on the entire planet.
Yeah.
And it was true then, and it's true now. And it's amazing to see that, hear that, and witness it historically like that. Because he didn't know that videos. I mean, the video had like 125 views before it became famous in StarCraft 2 for what was said during Brood War. I mean, it's just amazing. But getting in this game right now is a nice way to spend 6 minutes. I will always talk about Brood War.
I enjoyed that conversation.
Standard stuff from Parting thus far. Mama Ship Corps going to move out with gateway units. That's the harass. It allows for slowlings to go down pretty quick and safe. Sen, on the other hand, did take his bottom third, which is interesting. A lot of Zergs will do that. They don't like the other one because I guess with the rocks there, they can kind of get exposed.
Yeah, if you you have to actually make units to kill those rocks, which
Yeah.
Zergs don't like to do.
Good point. There you go.
For their
Instead of
bases.
drones.
Yeah.
But it is gasless again. Well, gasless up until a certain point. We're, of course, at 54 supply plus. But he went gasless to 3 base, which means we don't have speed. He's going straight layer.
Got away with it this game.
Yeah, you're right, actually.
But, you know, that's because Parting, he put down that very fast third. So it's looking very similar to Game 1.
Dude, that's 25 seconds faster than the other fast Nexus.
Oh.
Yeah, this is faster than fast.
What does he actually have? Yeah, this is a map where you can definitely do this. Like, you have the rocks, you have that choke point. Of course, you have the Mama Core. I kind of like your version of that name.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Which can help defend against pretty much.
Oh, yeah. Slow lanes, it shuts it down.
Yep.
I mean, game number 1 told Parting that he doesn't have to worry about early aggression from Sen. Sen's not opening up gas. Gas is how Zerg gets aggressive in the early stage. We see 14 more lings coming out, but guess what? Even with speed, with that wall in at the third, they're not a threat. The cannon behind those 3 gateways would hold off literally, I did the math in my head, infinity lings.
Wow.
It is a lot.
That's impressive. Now, you know, we talked about the reaction from Sen in Game 1 after seeing that third base.
Yeah.
Similar reaction here. Just adding on drones, you know, proceeding with tech. Not terribly fast. Hold on. Oh. This is actually deja vu-ish.
Yeah.
Because that did happen on Cloud Kingdom. That exact thing.
And then he put down a Twilight Council, he put down a Robo. Actually worth noting, no, okay, there is +1 attack on this Protoss army, so he'll wait for +2.
Yep.
But I want to see if he just throws down a Robotics Bay, or if he goes into some kind of like blink composition. We see Hydro Stand and Infestation Pit going down at the exact same time, and you use the word correct, or the phrase rather, deja vu. I mean, this is exactly game number 1 so far in Cloud Kingdom.
Now, I'm wondering if we're going to see Templar from Parting, because I feel like Sen, you know, obviously what he did in Game 1, it worked.
Yes.
I feel like that's what he's going to try to do on this map. But the question from there is, how does Parting change his play? Because, of course, Parting was the one that came out on the wrong end of that game.
Yeah.
And, of course, didn't have the perfect unit composition, didn't have the perfect decision-making. So I liked your point about the Templar, and I'm wondering if he's going to try to incorporate those this game. Assuming Sen, you know, goes down a similar route as he did in Game 1.
Well, there's the Robotics Bay being added to the other 4 gateways. Is another pair, or excuse me, another 4 gateways.
Yeah.
So for a total of 8, it looks like it's just going to be the same. He's going to be very content with 3 bases, and then once he starts shoving around with Stalker Colossus, he then takes his 4th, perhaps 5th. But one thing I do like about Parting is he's so active out on the map. With that recall, you can do this. You're not worried about getting surrounded, losing these units. If you kill a queen, some creep tumors, and then you recall back, you are successful. So that's exactly what he's looking to do. But if you don't have to recall, then you won't. He's going to pull back here.
Of course,
Loving the crowd here at Dallas. Something exciting going on over there. Can't wait to hear what that is. Swarm host
I think
upgrades.
MVP made an SCV. They're that crazy.
Oh, they're in a crazy game.
Yeah?
All right.
Right.
Well, you guys should have both streams open, so you know what's going on.
Yeah.
We'll just have to hear about it later.
You know, and I love your point about, you know, Harding just being out here. Because think about it as a Zerg player. You don't know what's coming with this, right? So you always have to be, like, scared of what's going to happen. Is he going to invest everything? Oh, hold on. These Swarm hosts might be taken off guard
nice
here.
transfusion.
There is an observer. Oh, the Swarm host is going to end up dying.
Good force fields, but these force fields are, they're not win force fields, they're don't kill me force fields, right? Like that's not him winning the fight, that's him not losing it. So he did pick off a Swarm host, which is nice, but now Sen spots that fourth. He's got his Spire finishing, he's got his 2-2 range attack upgrades incoming. Actually, just right now it's the Carapace, but soon to be I imagine, range attack. And he's sitting on his 4 bases, and those 4 bases were pretty darn good if you guys watched game number 1. He wasn't really concerned with doing what a lot of Zergs think they need to do, which is to have like 15 bases more than the Protoss.
This game, I mean, we theorized about, you know, that bank he accumulated, and I think this game we're going to keep a close eye on that unit slots tab because we talked about how efficient Sen was with the army that he had, which enabled him to accumulate such a bank where he didn't need to keep building units like Harding had to do. So that's something I'm definitely going to be keeping a very close eye on throughout this game.
Swarm host pulling back. One thing that Sen did that I thought was pretty cool too is a lot of Zergs push out with the Swarm host, take center map, and that's where they try to draw attention. Sen was totally content with having spine crawlers and choke points for his Swarm host to kind of lurk behind. However, he's out of position here. The Stalkers and Colossus are going to move forward. The force field's going to be so powerful on that ramp. There they are. Just a few Locusts coming down, but otherwise this base is left alone with that Protoss army.
Yeah, those force fields just meant to keep Sen's main army away, keep those Locusts away, just wants to snipe this base at the top, and he's going to be successful. That hatchery is going to fall, and that's a great move from Parting. That's something he wasn't able to do in game number 1. Sen just not able to get the spine crawlers down there, not able to get his Swarm host positioned correctly, and Parting taking advantage.
You're absolutely right, and I think that's Parting kind of realizing the game that is afoot. If he can keep this Zerg player fighting for a 4th, I don't care how cost-effective that army is, it should not be able to keep up with Parting. The other thing here, too, with Parting is I feel like, there it is, Temple Archives goes down quite a bit earlier, and if you are feedbacking those Vipers and stopping them from tugging your Colossus in cost-free, you're probably enjoying a much more equal game, if I might say so myself. So we're going to see more.
Oh, Swarm host don't even burrow. That's actually really scary. The Swarm host is going to be unburrowing and retreating back behind the spine.
He might just die right here.
Yeah, this is definitely scary. He only has Hydras here underneath. Doesn't have that monstrous roach count that he had in game number 1. And Parting has those Colossi, which pretty much shred everything that Sen has. I mean, there's no... Okay, Corruptors are just now being added on, but is it a little too late?
I think it is. The Stalkers and Colossus are marching forward. The Swarm hosts themselves are looking to be targeted down here in just a moment. Not enough Locusts coming out to make this Protoss think twice about fighting. Wow. Here comes reinforcements. A third Colossus, more Stalkers, and Harding has just picked apart Sen. It's 2-1. Wow.
So a lot of interesting things to talk about in that game, especially compared to game 1, because again, it opened up very similarly.
Yeah.
You know, Parting was just able to make sure that Sen never got to that comfort zone where he had those spines lining outside of his natural, where he had those spines lining all around the 4th base. You know, we saw I think it was the 4th base there from Sen, very exposed. The force fields went down on the ramp. There was nothing there to defend it, and that's a lot of drones. That's a hatchery forfeit, and all of a sudden there goes most of your economy.
Well, think about Cloud Kingdom. I mean, you're going up ramps to attack things like the natural area, not even the natural itself, and we saw Sen anchor that location with his spine crawlers. I'm talking about Cloud Kingdom, by the way.
Right.
And that allowed him to delay that attack, not doing any damage at all. But then you talk about his 4th base. He was able to focus on that because that other spot was so locked down. On this map, with his 4th getting picked off because he hadn't taken down those rocks, he hadn't had the location secure for himself, that opened up everything. And every time Parting moved back and forth, he was getting the favorable exchange because Sen was 1 step behind. And that meant that Akelon Waste is a place that Sen's going to put in his rearview mirror and look to the future because he needs better map help if he's going to play this style.
This is a best of 5, guys. Parting is currently up 2-1. That means if he wins 1 more, he will advance to the round of 8 at the 2013 MLG Winter Championship. Sen, he must win 2 in a row. We'll find out what happens next after a quick break. Don't go anywhere.